Hello and welcome everyone to AARP Wyoming's Video Voter Guide Series for 2024. I'm Tom Laycock with AARP Wyoming, and today we're joined by Ivan Posey, who is running for the Wyoming Legislature in House District 33 located in Fremont County. AARP has a proud 40-year history of nonpartisan voter engagement and does not endorse or oppose candidates, nor does AARP make contributions to political campaigns or candidates at any level. Instead, we ask questions so our members understand where the candidates sit on important issues and can make their own decisions on Election Day. Today, we'll ask Mr. Posey 3 questions, giving a 1-minute and 30-second response to each. Then we'll give him 2 minutes to make his pitch to the voters of House District 33. So, Mr. Posey, our first question is this. Over the last 2 years, the Wyoming Legislature has made providing property tax relief for its citizens a priority. In your view, what's the most effective way to provide relief while balancing revenue needs for our schools, counties, and other entities that rely on property tax to maintain sustainable funding?
Tom, as you said, the last 2 years, it's been kind of the forefront of issues in our Wyoming communities. Some in the district that I'd be running for is not affected by the property tax. A lot of tribal members are on trust land, which is not taxed. But there are a lot of people that are part of the district that are affected by it. With our revenues going down in coal, and I think we're still sitting okay with oil and gas revenue, but there has to be a balance. The schools have been very well funded over the years, and probably some of the best schools in the whole nation because of that. But then I understand the need for property tax relief for Wyoming citizens, but there has to be a balance there. And I'm not too sure what that balance is right now. I think it's still being sorted out in the committees, but we need to find a way also, not only for people to get property tax relief, but to also see how we could keep a lot of our young people in the state of Wyoming after they graduate from college and become homeowners and property owners. It's a very broad discussion, but I think property tax relief is needed, but it's just that balance of education and schools.
Thank you. Our second question. Wyoming's population of those aged 16 over grew by 47% from 2010 to 2020, while the state's entire population grew just 2%. We know 64% of all nursing home beds in Wyoming are paid for right now through the state Medicaid program. What do you see as the greatest barrier to helping our older adults age in their home and communities, and what solutions would you provide?
I think that, Tom, many older folks that end up in nursing homes more than likely want to stay home. And I think if we was to train and maintain a workforce that provides those type of services, I know in Fremont County, it's been a struggle just even keeping up with the nursing home staff. And, there's home health care, but they only visit homes certain times of the week. So I think again, it comes down to balance. I think, as you mentioned in those statistics, we're an aging community here in Wyoming, and people come here to retire. And we need to look at those training opportunities, whether it's more CNA training, more home health training, and combine those two so people who want to stay home can stay home, but get those services provided. I knew an older lady that lived out in Sage Creek, and she went into the nursing home at Fort Wasky. She said she didn't want to go home because she liked the company and the people that she got to visit with when she was in there. And she died a couple of years ago. But there's also that flip side of that some people do like that setting of the nursing home.
Our third and final question is this. Emergency medical services are not considered an essential service in Wyoming, and in some areas, ambulance services do not have a sustainable funding source. Over the last 10 years, Wyoming has 16 EMS providers in the state fold or consolidate, with another service. What solutions would you offer for ensuring access to ambulance services?
Well, I think it's very important, especially Wyoming is such a rural area, and it's like one of those things you don't really pay attention until you need it. And I think here in Fremont County, we went through 3 or 4 ambulance services over the last 5 years or so, and we still get those services in our community, but it hasn't been consistent. So I think that has to be whatever committee meets on that needs to make it a priority to make sure those services are available to people that need it. Another thing in our state is we don't have the specialists that deal with certain things. So we end up sending a lot of people out of state, whether it's to Denver or Billings or Salt Lake. And those air travel are pretty expensive. So I think if we combine those two with emergency services and the access to quality health care through specialists in certain fields, it makes us more healthier community.
Well, thank you, Mr. Posey. Thank you very much for answering our questions. Now let's give you 2 minutes to explain why you think you're the right man for the job by representing House District 33.
I was a reformed politician. I served about 21 years on our Shoshone Business Council, and I made the decision probably in March that I feel that I could represent the district a little better than it currently is. I'm born and raised here on a reservation. I served in the U.S. Army. I belong to the American Legion. I work here at Central Wyoming College as a tribal education coordinator. And I think even though sometimes some view the tribal community as a black box in the middle of Wyoming, we are also citizens of Wyoming. We are citizens of the state, as well as citizens of our tribal nations. But this district encompasses other areas, Hudson and Atlantic City and Crowheart, where there are ranching communities and people that work hard. And I worked with those people in the past, not only when I was in tribal government, but when I was served with the Forest Service for 9 years, way back in the 80s and the 90s. So I have a good feel of the community, I guess. And I think I could be effective in legislation and to know what our issues are.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your time today, Mr. Posey. We also appreciate the time for our viewers. Thank you for taking the time to join us for this video voter guide. We encourage you to keep checking Cowboy State Daily and AARP Wyoming's Facebook page for more voter guides in the days to come.
Very good.